Today, we're going to be talking about how to adapt to Warzone 2. Now, I'm going to be coaching you through 2 different clips, and we're going to be paying attention to 4 main things that will allow you to get more kills and pick up more squad wipes. Pace of play, positioning, repositioning, and movement. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So this first clip right here is a little bit longer, simply because as we're finishing up wiping the first squad, we actually have another team that rolls up on us, and I wanted to also break down how do we handle that third-party situation. But again, primarily paying attention to pace of play, positioning, repositioning, and movement. Now, just to give you a little bit of background, let me paint the picture of what just happened. We're in trios. I died first right outside of this gas station. Duco and TCAP then pushed in. They forced the team and kind of fought the team all the way over to this building right here, but they ended up both going down. So I'm going to fly back in here onto my stuff. A little bit of an aggressive play. I do have my loadout guns, so what you're going to see is my RPK is gone, but I still do have my cast-off 74U, so I really do have confidence in challenging people right here. We've got a UAV. We're going to have this self-revive right here, and we've got plenty of plates. So I'm in a good position to fight right here, and also use portable radars to your advantage. You can throw them on vehicles and drive around, but most importantly, even when you're in a fight, it's going to give you valuable information. In the short term, that gets me fried. In the long term, it's going to really help out, which I'll show you in a second. But right here is where we talk about the lack of outplay potential. You know, I can't slide cancel away. I'm never going to be able to get out of this situation. So I have no choice but to challenge here and just hope that I can hit shots and use a little bit of movement and a little bit of positioning being in the bush to get out of that fight or get out of that one-on-one situation. But let's really focus on these next 2 enemies. When we talk about outplay potential in this game and getting out of this scenario right here, when I'm very low health and I have 2 enemies close by, always remember, move first, plate/reload second. So my first goal is to break the line of sight and then get inside, at which point I push up the stairs, I semtex to hold him off just a little bit, I reload first because I can challenge with no plates, I cannot challenge with no ammo, and now I go about reloading. Again, I've got some information, that's still the UAV, but in this scenario, as I push out the door, what I notice is this guy being on my level. So I don't care about this guy. This guy's not in a position to shoot me. I have no fear of this guy. This guy's on my level, and I don't know if he can actually get to me, which is why I push back inside. Talk about positioning right here. And also keep in mind, guys, when we talk about lack of audio, right? We hate when we die to lack of audio, but also keep in mind in this situation, they probably have no idea where I went because I broke that line of sight, and now I'm not making any noise. So I'm just playing positioning here. Playing a little bit of positioning, trying to see what they're going to do. I, of course, still have that UAV. Now it's gone. Just kind of listening, trying to make them make a mistake. I'm trying to get them to turn this corner without anticipating, at which point I can use the TTK to my advantage. Can't quite get the down, but this is where we start thinking about outsmarting enemies. My first thought here is this guy that is on the backside is going to challenge me. So that's why I go challenge that way and use a little bit of that positioning or that repositioning to see if I can get a kill. Unfortunately, I can't. So now we're going to go ahead and reposition, find a different angle. Again, move first, plate second. Didn't get a good jump in that one-on-one gunfight, so we're going to break the line of sight. We're going to use the dolphin dives. And guys, by the way, the dolphin dives reset your tac sprint. So I jump forward, I'm able to get around this corner right here, and it resets my tac sprint, allowing me to keep pushing back. Reload. Then we're going to see what we can find. And I'm expecting them to be chasing me a little bit. Now we replay, try to use a little bit of audio to my advantage if I can, whatever little audio that I have. And the one thing that you'll notice throughout this scenario right here, as I'm fighting and, you know, staying in this engagement, it's kind of a 1v2 at this point, and I'm still thinking about getting my teammates back here. If I can clutch this up, I can buy them back and we're back in business, which is exactly what's going to happen. But I'm going to focus on pushing as much as possible. Now, pushing means a few things. I don't want you to think pushing is being very aggressive. I'm in the action here, and I'm trying to catch them off guard with my positioning and with my anticipation. If I'm moving around and jump peeking corners and I catch one of them, you know, slipping a little bit, not expecting me, I can use the TTK to my advantage to get a kill. Right there, he's got better positioning, right? Let's not be over-aggressive. He's in the better spot right here. I'm just going to jump down. Now, this is the scenario where, as I get fried right here, the guy here in Proxchat, the guy specifically say, where did he go? I have no idea where he went. So that's where we can use this audio dynamic to our advantage. I hope they fix audio. I really do. But for now, we can use that in an offensive position or a defensive position here to make them lose track of us. And by constantly pushing, I am keeping the pressure on my enemies. So you're going to see that happen right here. Now, in this moment, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought about disengaging this fight. Disengaging is totally okay. That's part of adapting to Warzone 2 and going and regaining a little bit. But then I hear footsteps above, and then I'm right back in this fight right here. And I was talking to TCAP as well. He was like, go in and try to clutch this a little bit. No. So I hear the buyback, and I know this guy's around here somewhere. Watch the anticipation. This is where I keep the pressure on. I anticipate I don't see him. So let's go ahead and keep pushing up a little bit. Right there was trying to play a little bit of high ground, trying to always think about positioning. But as I turn this corner, we're going to be able to get that knock. That's where I catch this guy off guard. And by the way, notice that I do go for the thirst here. More times than not, somebody is going to have a self-revive, so I want that guy out of the fight completely. I don't want to have to worry about him anymore, which is exactly what happens. Once again, I continue to harp on how you can use audio to your advantage, because as I jump down here, watch left. You see him right here? He has no idea that I jumped down. I can use that to my advantage. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what do you think this guy is doing right here? Where do you think he's going to go? By the way, as I'm making this next play, if you are looking to get better, just make sure you are subscribed down below. I do videos just about every single day for you, trying to get you to be as good of a player as possible. Get more kills, die a little less, pick up more wins as a squad, because at the end of the day, that is a lot of fun in Warzone 2. So that's my whole goal. I do videos just about every single day. Once again, notice that we catch him a little bit off guard with our positioning. He has no idea where I am. I'm playing a little bit patient. We're able to get that down, and he's looking right up that stairwell where I was. He's exactly where I think he's going to be. He is very predictable in going, oh, he's got to be up top right here. Now, we got another one floating around here, and we're going to have another team rolling in. So let's go ahead and push forward right here. I'm just trying to get enough cash for TCAP, but I got to be careful. There's still one more floating around. There's still that one that bought back somewhere. Now I have enough for TCAP. Just a little quick gameplay strategy note, guys. Your game doesn't end until the whole team dies, so I'm not worried about looting. I'm not worried about plating. I'll get all that stuff later. Let me get TCAP back, because if something happens to me and TCAP's back, we at least have a chance. Now, notice we still get procs chat here. I have no idea where this guy is, but TCAP is going to help me out here. Guys, when you are flying back in, help your team with information. Information is the hardest part of this game. So he's actually going to live ping. I'm going to bait him a little bit. I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm shooting shots over here. And the guy's going to go, whoa, what can I find over this way? I hear shots being fired. At which point I fry him. But what ends up happening? Another team rolls up. So now we're in this third-party situation a little bit. Now we're kind of back to square one. We just fought our way out of a 1v3 scenario. Now we're back in a 2v3 scenario here once TCAP gets gunned, which he just did. So let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit here. You can kind of see how you see the repositioning and the pace of play difference here, where I'm constantly moving, but there are times that I am going to play positioning. And by the way, you are going to really see that here in a second. You're going to really see how we use repositioning, positioning and repositioning to our advantage to outthink our enemies and put us in a better spot. The one thing to note, guys, is this game is much slower. I mean, there's no doubt about it, and your decisions are going to be much slower. Your gunfights are going to be much slower. Sometimes you're going to have to wait on enemies to make a move. Let me go ahead and fast forward this a little bit quicker. Let's get up to 5x here and get this team flying back in. There we go. We're going to get Duco back here. Duco's back. We buy UAV. Now we're in business here. Okay, now we've got this team rolling in. Here we go. This team's back. We got the third party rolling in. So this is another team right here. They're up top. Now, when we look at this positioning, guys, this is a very high-risk scenario for us because they've got the better positioning. Even if we were to get a down up top here, it's going to be very difficult to actually get a thirst. So I've got to be very conscious of my cover. They also have a nasty heady. Well, that guy goes down. Unfortunately, I thought I had precision, but I had a UAV. We popped the precision in, and now we can go. We're still going to hold. We're still going to play a little bit of positioning in here. And I want to speed this up just a little bit because what ends up happening here is not a whole lot. Like, we're trying to peek this guy. He's on the heady. I see him. But this is where I really want to get to in this fight. TCAP and I are going to make the long play. This is where this game really slows down. And we really focus on positioning, even though it's going to take a while. I mean, look how long this actually takes. This takes us forever to get to the spot that we want to be. And this fight still goes on for a very long time. But now we just took control of this fight because of our positioning. You know, it used to be you took control of fights with your movement. You used to take control of fights by popping in, frying somebody, getting a thirst with a throwing knife, getting out of there with your slide canceling, repositioning with your slide canceling, jump peeking corners. And now it's all about outthinking your enemies and all about positioning. Now, these guys have really good positioning as well because they are on that head glitch right there. We're both kind of playing this head glitch. Theirs is just a little bit better, and he hit him with the nade. Now, remember what I told you earlier? Remember what I told you earlier about fighting these teams right here, where you can't really get a thirst because there's nothing they can do. So I'm just holding this angle. Come challenge, baby. Like, I'm going to tap that to save the self-revive. But, like, come on up here. We're ready for you at this point. And they're going to most likely lose that gunfight. Now, Duco's getting live pings below. Once again, another piece of information that we have. TCAP goes down. And all of a sudden, TCAP slipped, by the way. He slipped off the edge, which kind of put us in a tough spot. But let's go ahead and see what we can do. Finally, we get our window of opportunity, guys. This game is all about finding your window of opportunity when it comes to positioning and gameplay strategy and taking advantage of it. Now we hit shots with the RPK. RPK is absolutely insane. There's guy number 1. There's guy number 2. Still thinking about guy number 3 here because at the end of the day, this fight's not over yet. You know, this third guy's still floating around. We don't exactly know where he is. We were live pinging the fact that one team was there. By the way, notice TCAP did self-revive there. So TCAP's still alive. And all of a sudden, by us making that long rotate all the way around, now we're in a really good position to turn the tides and take care of that team. TCAP gets the down right there, and then he ends up getting the thirst, and there's the wipe. So let's go ahead and jump into clip number 2, which is very, very quick. So as I mentioned, this clip right here is super quick. We're in Unhinged Trios. We actually just completed the Stronghold, so we do have loadout, and we also have that kind of permanent UAV that we get with the Stronghold, which is going to be super helpful right here. But this clip is all about positioning, gameplay strategy, pace of play, and really taking a look at our spacing as a squad. By the way, if you haven't already, guys, make sure you send this to your squad so you guys are all on the same page. But when it comes to positioning, the element of surprising getting a clean down and thirst is super crucial to start a fight, especially when we're fighting. Notice right here, guys, that we've got like 5 or 6 people on this team. This is unhinged, so this team fully combined, and we're fighting 5 or 6 people. Notice our spacing first and foremost. You know, I've got this angle covered right here. I've got high ground. I'm in a good position. I've got plenty of cover if I need to escape. Hog is high ground right here. Kind of, you can't see him behind my camera, but Hog's right over here by the light pole shooting down. TCAP's got plenty of cover on this little L-shaped building shooting down. So we've got really good spacing right here. And watch our patience throughout this fight, right? So I'm going to be able to get a knock right there. I'm going to get the thirst, eliminate the self-revive. I'm overselling for the thirst right there because I want to take that guy out of the fight. Now we've got 4 more enemies. I'm going to go ahead and reposition right here. Once again, we're going to take a different angle. We're going to be a little bit unpredictable. We're going to focus on our positioning, and I once again have high ground. Now, I see 2 enemies. I see this one back here, and I've got the one in my scope. And also notice how exposed I am in this moment, right? Not a lot of cover, and that's just something that I do have to be a little bit careful of. And no self-revive. So right here, we're able to barely get that down, but notice this right here. This is the important part. Notice that as I'm starting to miss shots and I start getting shot, I start strafing behind cover. So now right here, I already start pushing back behind cover so that by the time I get the down, I can break that line of sight. Like I said, this fight's going to end super quick. We get down number 2, and now look at the minimap. I'm not going to have any part in this fight for the rest of it, but watch TCAP start to push up here. We got one right here. This guy's down. TCAP's going to push up and kind of flank the last enemy right here, and that's an easy team wipe. So let's go ahead and roll this back like super quick for you, full speed. You know, again, as we talk about adapting to Warzone 2, Warzone 1 was all about movement. It was all about the outplay potential. You know, getting in and out quick, being able to get quick downs and thirst, using that to your advantage. The skill gap in this game when we talk about adapting is all about understanding people that play, or how people play predictable, understanding where people are going to rotate to, making sure that you have good positioning with cover, making sure that you're being very careful about when you re-peek the same angle, when to reposition, when not to reposition, understanding how to figure out where people are. Obviously here we get a little bit of an advantage with that permanent UAV from the Stronghold, but ultimately, you know, being able to execute as well is kind of the last thing that we focus on right here as we get that down. But that is where the skill gap comes from. Understanding when to push and when not to push. So I hope you found today's video helpful. As I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.